haven't played that intro in a very long time, but
That is
Rob,
OG, man.
Rob texts me 10 minutes ago and he says, I can't make the show. And I'm like, wait, what? He's like, dude, I can't make it. I'm having car trouble and he needs the car to go away. And I'm like, who can make it in 10 minutes? And I'm like, Pantile's the only one that'll come through. You were the first person I asked. I didn't ask anybody else. You were the first one to come through. You answered in minutes and answered the call like Superman, bro. Thank you so much, dude. How have you been?
Dude, I've been really good, man. We got to give a shout out and a thank you to my wife, Karen, for holding it down. This time of day or evening is chaos with the kids. She's like, no, go do the thing with Anthony. I'm like, babe, you're the best. I was going to, do it anyways, but it's good to have her not be pissed off while I'm down here doing this with you.
What times are you?
It's a little past 5. We try to get the kids in bed by like 7:38, but it's like a 3-hour, 4-hour wind down time.
Yeah. You're in mountain time, so
that's right.
Wow, man. What's going on with Pantile, man? What are you allowed to like say on air? Any of the things you've been like dealing with? Like, are you leaving Canada? Like, what's going on?
Dude, that's to be determined. We're right now in the middle of trying to figure out how to move out to the country. We've had 3 or 4 different places kind of fall through, and we're kind of just discerning that out. I don't know, man. I've often thought about moving down south. It's not super easy, but it's kind of where God has me. But honestly, man, it's just been tying up with the kids, putting out my YouTube thing, coaching my guys. I just put out a course too. And so I'm just kind of staying in my own little corner of the internet, dude. I'm off of X. I kind of go in and out. Dude, I don't know how you do it, dude. It's such a cesspool. I need to just like detox myself from it sometimes, and then I'll come in and I'll like post for like a couple months straight and then I'm off.
We have such different, like, we have just such drastically different lives, right? Like you're home with your family the whole day. Like I'm out doing construction in New York City. So most of the time I'm just playing around on Twitter while I'm at work. Like when I'm home though, I never go on if I'm home. Like if my wife and kids are around, I'm not on it. On weekends, I disappear from it. And I even like lately, I haven't been on it nearly as much as I used to be. I used to spend a lot of time in the cesspool, but we're just very different like that, I guess. But man, what's been going? It's been a while since we had you on, man. What have you been up to?
Dude, man, just been tied up with like I said, with the family, trying to find this land, trying to figure out our living situation. Not that it's like pressing. Dude, I'm so tired of the cities. I'm so tired of, this sounds bad. I'm so tired of immigrants just invading everywhere. I want to be in the middle of nowhere with nobody around me like Rob. I'm so sick and tired of it. I just got fatigue from everybody. So I'm just like, I just need to get the F out of here. And yeah, man. Other than that,
we all have the fatigue, Mike. That is kind of the topic of tonight's episode. We wanted to talk about the fatigue. What is the news in Canada like? Like, are you guys seeing the bombardment of the Karmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf thing up in Canada?
Yeah, absolutely. It's everywhere. I don't really pay attention to the Canadian MSM, but everywhere else, I'm just noticing absolutely everywhere. Friends are talking about it. There's 2 sides. Everybody's crashing out on either side. And it's just more of the same BS, dude, as you know. That's probably like the headline topic for you guys in the US for sure.
For me, it's I'm just very worried about everything, the way everything is going. Oh, we do have to talk about this tonight too. We definitely need to talk about this tonight. Yeah. There's we have a little update from Carrie Prejean McGrady. We should have put her in the thumbnail and let her threaten to sue me again.
Oh, buddy.
But, I'm watching what happened in Belfast, and it's no different for you in Canada. Like when I visited Canada, it's the same situation we're dealing with here in the US, but so much of it feels like, especially with the algorithm on social media, that they're feeding us stuff to build this animosity towards the other, right? Like you really, like race relations in America have never been at a worse point, and at least online. I mean, I work in the city and I'm around. I'm in like the melting pot, and I don't notice it in person yet, but you just see video after video after video of cultural clashes and
Mm-hmm.
just have such a different vision of what a society should look like interacting with each other. And it just seems like things are really coming to a head. Like Belfast, you're talking about like the Irish who classically had like tensions with the English and the Scottish are the all like Scottish, English, and Irish are linking together, and they're like, we've had enough. I mean, they had this Sudanese immigrant come in and try to behead a guy, and they've lit Belfast on fire essentially. And it just seems like everything is at a breaking point right now. That you are still kind of in the country where you are, right?
Yeah, we're kind of on the outskirts of the suburbs, so I mean, we're close enough. But the tensions here are just as high. It may be with different races, let's say, but the problem is the same. It's hard because I think so much of it is obviously manufactured chaos, and then the state comes in, or in our case, the federal government, parliament comes in, then brings in the solution. And what is it? It's just more totalitarian control. It's the totalitarian Luciferian tiptoe. I mean, we see it everywhere. It's happening on purpose, and I think it's gotten to the point where it's gotten so bad that I don't see a way out of it personally at this point.
No, and I think with the algorithms, the way they're feeding everything to us, I mean, people are just willing to say things they never would say. You're seeing, like, I mean, I have a lot of clips we could go through tonight to just show that there's two different realities that people are seeing things through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this whole Karmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf thing happened, and we're looking at it, and you see a kid at a track meet who gets stabbed in the heart for absolutely no reason. And we want justice for that kid who was murdered. And then the Black community in America sees that. And when justice is actually served, the kid got 35 years. He's going to get out in 17. He's 17 years old. He'll be out on the streets at 35 years old. He has a chance at a life. And they're acting like they put an innocent kid away. Like, I just don't, it doesn't seem like the case that should set these tensions off, but they really are. I mean, but then again, you're viewing everything through social media, so you don't know. Like I said, I don't see anything. It's not like I see this stuff on the streets, but you're seeing video after video of people just violently attack. Like, Black people are violently attacking white people for no reason whatsoever. It's just this. It's coming. Things are boiling and coming to a head very soon.
Well, when I mean, the whole operation, because most people are retarded and they're plugged into the hive mind. And, the powers that be know that if they can manufacture enough of this chaos, something that is a legitimately open and shut case like this one will still cause division and chaos. And it's playing right into the game, especially with social media. That is where like the warfare is happening. That's kind of like ground zero nowadays. So to me, it's unsurprising. It's just like, what is it leading to? Is it civil war? Is it just a complete total chaos uprising? I think that's the only logical sort of endpoint at this. I think that's what is actually happening. I think that when I looked at what they were doing with the mass migration into the West, the narrative was always, oh, they're doing it for votes. I never thought they were doing it for votes. I always thought it was about a disintegration of culture. And it was about bringing foreigners in that have a completely different way of life than we do. Especially, look, I mean, we have Indian listeners and stuff like that. So I'm not trying to, whatever, give this broad stroke brush with everybody. But when you're bringing in people who don't view you're talking about an entire country of people who their sole source of income is typically scamming people, right? So now you're bringing them into America. You're bringing them. 99% of them are coming in with fraudulent info on these visas that they're coming in with because they're scammers. Like, they don't view morality the same way we do. They don't see lying as a problem. They don't see stealing as a problem. Then they come in here and it's a total culture shock. Now, this year was the first year we started to notice where you're having Diwali celebrations in America, Diwali celebrations in England on like massive scale because they've imported so many freaking Indians in one shot the way they have. And it's just a completely different culture. Now,
even like 20 years ago when we were growing up, it wasn't like that. Like you had, even in New York, yeah, you had different cultures, but there was like different ghettos in New York City, and like the Spanish didn't mess with the blacks, and the Italians stayed in their neighborhood, and the Irish stayed in their neighborhood, and then everything just kind of got flooded in the last 20 years, and it just seems like everything is going to come to a head soon. Now, I think they did this on purpose to undermine whatever culture that we had that united us before. Because even 20 years ago, you think about when 9/11 happened. When 9/11 happened, Americans like rallied to the call to go and fight the Iraq war because we felt like we had been attacked. Our cultural makeup in our countries at this point is so whacked that I don't even think if a foreign attack on our lands would rally young men to go and fight for their country anymore.
No, exactly. So the two things. I mean, you import the third world, you're going to get the third world. I think it all really is a subversion of a Christian society. What is the West? But the bulwark of morality of the entire world. And so I think the front lines, the frontier is obviously the United States. It's kind of like the new Roman Empire. So naturally, it's all going to go there, and then it spreads up to where we're at. And then you get this especially in the last year or two with the JQ, what's happening in the government, the distrust in the establishment and in Trump. I have never seen such a radical switch around from a platform in my entire life. And I was like Canadian MAGA to the core, bro. I remember that 2016 election. I was rallying for him for years up here. And then now it's like breakneck, dude. Everybody's got whiplash. So this veil has been lifted. Nothing happens to the people on Epstein Island. All this other stuff goes down. And so there's a fundamental distrust and then disunity that's like bred, especially in the American people, where you guys could rally together on this sort of like common enemy. But now you're like, wait a second. The common enemy is in the White House. It's in the Senate.
The Trump stuff. The Trump stuff is amazing because like I work construction. I work with a bunch of like blue collar guys who were all super hyped about Trump. I mean, it was like a unanimous thing in the construction where guys were so pumped about what Trump was going to do. We had this opportunity. We were going to finally close the border and we were going to start deporting people and take our country back. We were talking about it at work the other day, and I was just like talking to like normal guys at work. And I'm like, so what do you guys think of Trump? And they all like, and they're not in my world. They're not like on Twitter the way I am and stuff. And they're all just like, oh man, he's controlled by the Jews, dude. I can't believe it. Like
wild,
these are just normal guys that are just, everyone is just like unbelievably disappointed in how Trump just seems to be a puppet for Israel. It's kind of crazy. Where I thought it was more just in our internet world, but it's not. People really do notice, and they are very disappointed in it. And the total turn on support for him. He went to the Knicks game the other night and just got booed at the stadium. And it's like, did he really think he was going to walk into New York City and people would be happy to see him there? Like, he's so used to going to these rallies and everybody being excited for him. It's just nobody cares about him anymore. We're all just hoping his term ends and he gets the hell out of there.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, on the state level, what was it? Wasn't it AIPAC bragging about stealing an election in like Kentucky?
Yeah. I mean, it's Thomas Massey.
Yeah. So it's just flagrant. It's in your face now. They don't care about you. Everything. It's just like this small group of men and women at the tippy top that are just shaking hands, making deals, making billions of dollars, and everybody downstream from that, suffers as a result. And so now you've got like rotten cultural identity. You don't identify with the country. You don't have a semblance of a patria is completely gone. And so when you rob that of people and then you import the third world and you got all this geopolitical stuff happening, I mean, that's just a recipe for, intracultural implosion. And it's I think it's going to get so much worse, man. So much.
I do too. Like, all right, so I want to share. We're going to play a couple of videos. I want to just see. I want to see what you think. Let's see if I can pull this off. I'm always terrible at this, but hang on. When Rob's here, it goes much faster. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. I'm like jumping screen to screen here. So
what it is going to take in order for us to get from under our oppressor's thumb. They are going to be violent anyway. So why would we continue to be peaceful martyrs to keep capitalism and white supremacy going? We cannot live like this. This is not sustainable. The American empire is falling anyway.
I don't think the audio is playing, Anthony.
Oh, it's not?
Are you going to fall?
No.
Or are you going to be a part of bringing it down?
You don't hear that?
I can't even hear you anymore.
Everybody else hears it. You just don't
What
hear
the
it.
hell? You hear
me now?
Dude, what the hell?
You guys all heard it. Everybody heard it.
Pardon me, guys. I'll be right back. Give me 30 seconds.
Oh no, we lost it. I'm pretty sure I did this right. It wasn't me. Okay, so for anybody joining late, Rob had an emergency come up where his car broke down and he had to bail last minute. So Mike Pantile came through last minute. It's not even me, Fed. It's Mike. I actually handled it properly. It's Pantile issue. Audio is fine. Well, when he comes back, we'll have to figure that out. I got some other stuff we could go over too, though. All right, let's see.
Good now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, switch browsers.
All right, so let's do that again, and let's see if Mike can hear it this time.
All right, we're good.
I mean, she's just living in an alternate world.
What it is going to take in order for us to get from under our oppressor's thumb. They are going to be violent anyway. So why would we continue to be peaceful martyrs to keep capitalism and white supremacy going? We cannot live like this. This is not sustainable. The American empire is falling anyway. So you have to make a choice now. Are you going to fall with it, or are you going to be a part of bringing it down and building something that is actually made within the image of marginalized people, most especially Black and Indigenous people? I believe that Black people can be responsible for themselves, govern themselves, create their own systems. But do you?
I have so many things that I disagree with her on. It's not even, it's just the level of just how the narrative that these people actually believe, that it's actually shocking in some cases. Like this one, let me see if I can pull this one off. Hang on. I got another one. This one was actually like appalling to me, because it was looking at the at the same case we all did, and I actually had to say, like, we're looking at two totally different realities that these people live in.
Dude, it feels like 2015 all over again. I don't know how this is still a conversation. I mean, it just goes to show you the sort of mainstream IQ. To be fair, I don't know. I maybe have too much hope in people, and then I see stuff like that. So I said, man, I really live in a bubble, dude.
Well, that's the thing. You don't know if this really is that mainstream, or. But the problem is there's two different narratives being fed to people, right? And we'll watch something like I've noticed this a lot with my X feed lately, especially. The way the algorithms work now is they just feed you stuff to enrage you.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'll watch this clip and it makes me angry. So X keeps feeding me stuff like this because it makes me angry. So the people that are on their point of view, they're seeing both this, which they agree with, and then they're seeing the most outlandish white opinions to make them angry. And it's just building this animosity up because they want us to be at war with one another. Like, that's just it's just where we are. Listening while I drive 45 minutes to the nearest auto parts store, Rob said. thanks for bailing on me, Rob. Appreciate you. All right, so let's play this clip. Let's just see what this is this woman's take on the Karmelo Anthony story.
First and foremost, the one thing that I would ask for people to do at this moment is pray for the Anthony family, because they have been legally lynched for the last year, and more so by this slaughterhouse of a courthouse, as well as the family of the Metcalfs. So
what? Wait a minute.
The energy.
Okay, just think about what she just said there. Pray for the Anthony family because they have been legally lynched and they've been tormented by the Metcalf family. This is the family who lost their son who was murdered. Now, Austin Metcalf's father came out originally and he forgave Karmelo Anthony, forgave him. Then he went to a thing to try to pray with them.
Wow.
And they threw him out. Okay, so this guy came in, tried to extend an olive branch as one father, to like as a grieving father, going to the other parents and saying, look, our children got into something. I don't want this to be about race. Like, they had an opportunity to make sure this wasn't about race. And that family went and made the entire thing about race, which made the whole situation compounded. It made it a million times worse. Then you get this girl who's supposedly a lawyer. She can't even say the word ask. Let me ask you something. And this is the stuff that they're being fed. And I mean, it gets worse.
Right now is very white supremacy. They have shown up to be the pigs that they display with hate. They are celebrating the loss of life and the loss of freedom. So that's the energy. We have a devastated family who didn't know that they was going to have to let their son go back into a holdover because we have an overzealous prosecutor who lied throughout this trial, who put on liars as witnesses in order to be.
I don't think. All right, Mike, did you see any of the trial? Like, did you see, not see it because it wasn't broadcast or anything, but did you hear any of the witness testimony? Like,
I did not.
The witness testimony was so brutal that even the defense's witnesses that they brought on, that they tried to make it seem like there could have been some angle of self-defense in this. When they were on cross-exam, the prosecutor came in and asked them a few questions, and it totally unraveled their story. And then the defense's witness, the prosecutor asked them, do you think this was self-defense? And the defense's witness said, no, I don't. Do you think this was a case of murder? Yes, I do. Like, wow. Dude, these are the defense's witnesses, right? The other thing you have to really take into account is that he didn't take the stand, okay? Like, when you look back to the Kyle Rittenhouse case, do you remember Kyle Rittenhouse case? Yep. Like Kyle Rittenhouse, Rittenhouse, he shot 3 people and he wound up claiming self-defense, and he gets off, but he gets on the stand and has to tell his version of events, right? So now this defense attorney had to see Karmelo Anthony and say, we cannot put this kid on the stand. Like this kid had to be so bad at telling his version of events that the defense attorney was like, we cannot put him on the stand. He couldn't even get up on the stand and say, I'm so sorry about what I did. Nothing. Like they couldn't put him up there because the slightest chance of cross-examining him would have been such a disaster for them. Like, this kid was such a freaking animal. I mean, he stabbed the kid for no freaking reason whatsoever, right? And they must have come to the conclusion that if we put this kid on the stand, it's going to completely torpedo our case, which, you know, it wound up being torpedoed anyway. But I don't know, man. I just think the people that are watching it from the other end, without even looking into the events that actually went down, without looking at the case whatsoever, and just seeing this from a purely racial perspective, it's just going to get to a point where it's just she's right. This stuff isn't sustainable. This can't go on the way it is.
Yeah, he not only was he just an animal, but I think a part of that is the fact that he probably looks like, I mean, you just look at him in the eyes, he's got like room temperature or lower IQ.
Yeah,
easily, for sure. The guy probably can't even formulate a sentence properly. But this is just classic like weaponization of like bipartisan politics, dude. The fact that this is getting so much coverage and it is meant to inflame people, as a I would say somewhat rational male looking at this, I don't understand how somebody could misconstrue it. But because we've just been the woke mind virus has spread to such a degree, and we've been so de-Christianized by all, even a lot of these people on the opposing side probably call themselves Christians, but effectively are materialists.
Yeah,
that's all they are. I think that's really at the heart of the issue. is it's just a materialistic, even if some of them call themselves Christian, it's not a Christian nation. It's a materialist, postmodern nation. There's no recognition of the reality of the metaphysical. And then when you get that, there's just this Overton window that shifts so quickly, it snaps your neck. So I don't know. This doesn't surprise me. It feels like 2015 all over again, but then doused in gasoline, post-COVID, post what's happening with Trump and Israel and the JQ. Man,
the scariest part is that, like, look, it is a good Christian impulse to have empathy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that actually is a good thing. So, like, the idea of somebody's even getting back to the immigration issue, right? There's something about somebody's somebody's escaping something dangerous from their own country, or somebody's just coming to America looking to make a better life for themselves because they're coming from a third world crap hole. Like, the impulse for us to be kind to that person and welcome them into our borders and treat them with dignity and respect, that is a good Christian impulse. But that good Christian impulse is being weaponized against Christians, so that if we notice anything like we're seeing right now, they're accusing us of being far right extremists and hate filled and racist and all these things. And it's such a vile thing to accuse us of, because we all have children growing up in this world, and we want to have a country to hand on to our children. And then you have even our own hierarchy in our church telling us that we need, like, it's just this never ending thing of no, you just have to keep being okay with this stuff. And if you protest it in any way, you're the problem.
Well, that's exactly it. And to people in the comments, I voted for Alberta secession, by the way, and separation. So my whole family did. Just by the way, I live in Alberta. I very much support separation. But on the other side, if we've been so brownwashed about the history of, let's say, even the Crusades, if those men, and it was an overwhelming loss, but a net W, because the West wasn't Islamized. I mean, it is happening now, but if it wasn't for that those men and women holding the line at that time, I mean, we would have been full on Sharia law, Islamic state sort of thing. And so for us to expect that history not to repeat itself, but this time, like, the enemies are within the walls already. They've penetrated. They're here. So now what do we actually do? That's the question.
Well, that's actually, all right. So when we get to Belfast, we're going to get to Belfast in a few minutes, because that's kind of what I see happening in Belfast, is where once the church would call that crusade, right? Like, the invaders are coming into Christian lands. The church would call that crusade. The Pope would call that crusade, and we would defend Christian lands. The Pope is kind of impotent on this issue and telling us we need to be okay with it. And then, slightly pushing back and saying countries need to do better. The countries of origin where these people are coming from, they need to, like, oh no. Can you still see me?
I can.
Oh, my power just went out. Oh no.
Oh, did it?
I think I can fix it. Well, just one. Oh my gosh. My son better go turn that back on for me.
Yo, man, since I got on here, there's been nothing but problems. What's
No, it's because my son's going to take care of it. Don't worry. I have faith in him. I heard him running out to the garage. Oh, there we go. All right,
boom. Done. Praise God.
Oh, no, my lighting a little messed up. Oh, my God. Oh, yellow. Holy cow. All right, let's see. That's the wrong one. Wait. All right, sorry, guys. Let's do that. And then, all right, that's a little better. Oh, my gosh. All right. So, so instead of I'm surprised the whole stream didn't kill.
Yeah.
But no, what happened was, like, all my lighting went out and my main screen, but my laptop was still on battery. So luckily I was still able to hear. But so in Belfast, what's going on? You know what? Maybe we'll do that first.
Yeah, do it.
Because it's dangerous the way it's happening. Like what I see happening is actually a little, it's kind of dangerous and worrisome. So, because if it was called by the church, it would be done properly. But because it's being done like this, it makes me. So let me hang on. All right, hang on. Let me see. Oh, I hate when Rob's not here. Let's see. I'm so slow at this stuff. It's terrible. All right, here it is. Let's see, share. Bear with me, guys. It's happening. All right, here we go. All right, so
governments about what they're going to
all right. So this is the ICA. The ICA just released
Citizens of Ireland, we address you tonight with a heavy heart, but with a firm resolve. We are the Irish Citizen Army, also known as the ICA. We created the rebirth of the ICA of 1913. We are all citizens, fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters, driven to finally take action on the intolerable corruption which is forced on us by the Irish and British governments. We also believe that the British government has no right in Ireland, has never had any right in Ireland, and never can have any right in Ireland. We represent all of Ireland's 32 counties. We refuse to witness the suffering of our citizens. Our Irish citizens refuse to be treated as second-class citizens on their own island. We, the ICA, refuse to witness our heritage and culture being erased. We refuse to witness the suffering and killing of innocent Irish citizens. We, the ICA, will fight for Ireland. We, the ICA, will take the necessary steps to achieve our goals.
So, I mean, dude, this is like scary stuff because when it's
our
done,
plan is
like
to take action on the injustice of Irish citizens and to fight for a fair, free, and independent Ireland.
Look, people are fed up, man. People are fed up. They want their freaking country back. Like they're tired of the government continuing to allow this stuff to happen. So now these vigilante groups are popping up and they're trying to form their own crusade essentially, right? Because what's going on in Belfast worries me because what they're doing is torching neighborhoods where I think the immigrants are, right? Mm. And in some respects, a lot of those immigrants are just innocent in that they're falling for the propaganda because I think a lot of this stuff is coordinated. I don't think these people are just coming to Ireland for no reason. Like they're just like, oh, I'm just going to go to Ireland and invade. No, they're being told in their home country, oh, come to Ireland because we have all these programs and you're going to get free money and all this stuff. So they're being propagandized too. Then they come there. A couple of the people that come are complete maniacs and degenerates. And then they're firebombing the neighborhoods where these people are, and that's not going to change anything. It's going to bring a bigger crackdown on the Irish. I think the only way to actually do something, I'm speaking hypothetically here, of course, but you need to make the politicians who enacted these plans, you need to make them feel the pain of what the regular Irish citizenry is feeling.
And that'll never happen. You know, this kind of reminds me of, the People's Crusade back sort of right around that first crusade time where they went in and it was totally obviously decentralized. There was no real authority. They went in, they caused a muck and a bunch of innocent people died that didn't need to die. And I'm not saying that, Pope Leo's got to call a crusade, and I'm always very hesitant to speak poorly, probably because I'm scrupulous, but the fact that there's really the hierarchy is kind of hasn't been as strong-handed with regard to morality or about, this particular topic, that the world is run amok. Like, where is our moral guardrails? And it's like up to the lay people to talk about this stuff. And that's sad, man. Cause I don't blame them.
You don't even have to. Yeah. It's not even about like, it's just, you look at the way they're handling this issue. They're just totally dropping the ball on, because I see immigration and like the LGBT issue in the church is similar, right? Where if you allow laxity on the LGBT issue in the church, or even any sexual morality in the church, it weakens all doctrine across the whole thing, right?
Yep.
If you open your borders in a nation, you weaken the entire nation in all areas. It's like the church should be firm on these specific things for a reason. They need to warn Christian nations that if you do not remember your patronage, if you do not remember your inheritance, you're going to lose it. Like, that should be the church's job, is to warn us. If you are not careful about making sure you remember the inheritance you have from your ancestors to your lands, you're going to lose your lands. Like that. It's the same thing with the church. Because we've forgotten tradition in the church, we've forgotten the inheritance that was given to us. So we think it's just a thing that we can play around with and change around. And that's really the crisis in culture and in the church.
Yeah, because it starts in the church. It kind of begins and ends in the church. But to see this as plain as day, go and look at the stats of how many Catholics actually go to confession on a regular basis. And then moreover, how many Catholics actually believe in the true presence.
Yeah.
It's shocking and it's depressing. If there's anything that's like doom pilling for me, that makes me black pill, it's that. It's exactly what I was speaking to earlier. It's a materialistic worldview. We've completely lost. Like, we live within this cosmos, this reality of angels and demons and warfare and our morality. Like, the enemy can, scourge and crucify the flesh, but they can't steal the soul unless we give it to them. And here we are, because it's like, we don't see it, smell it, touch it, hear it. It's not real. And then as a result, what happens? Everything weakens because we've forgotten about the cosmology that we exist within.
Yeah, Mike, I've never been like a huge race guy to begin with, right? Like, I've never been a guy that's obsessed with race. Like, I always, like, I never was that worried about like the Mexican Catholics coming into my country. It was like, I assume over time they'll assimilate like the European Catholics that came into this country. I just kind of, so what scares me is that you're bringing people in that aren't Christian, right? So, and to your point, like the materialist Christian mindset that we're dealing with right now, even the people who do go to church, a lot of them treat it like it's just a social club, especially the older generation. The older generation, for them, church is like, oh, well, I'm going to meet, my friend over there. Or you even have the Knights of Columbus has kind of just become like an insurance agency for older men at the parish and stuff. But there's not really this vibrant, deep spirituality amongst the Catholics that are in the average parish anymore. That's what it is, why people do seek out traditional parishes, because you're going to a parish where you're meeting like-minded people who do take their faith seriously. So you get like this concentrated parish of people who take it seriously, and it has like a growing effect when you do it that way.
And then those families and those cultures bear a lot of fruit. It's not like that they're without their problems. I mean, like, listen, there's problems at every TLM parish. Problems at mine, there's probably problems yours because there's flawed people. But you can at least connect on the fact that you believe in the church and its doctrine to this, the most strict points. For some people it is about aesthetics and about the material more than it is anything. But you tend to have people that have informed consciences that try and fight for their state of grace because they understand and they're aware of these metaphysical realities. But then when is the last time we've actually had robust clarity with regard to moral issues from the church? It's sad to really think about it.
From the church has been quite some time. I mean, one of the craziest things about doing that encyclical series with Rob it's kind of depressing, man.
It is, right?
It's like you're just like, where is the church right now, man? Like, they should, like, really, if you even talk about the stuff with Vatican II and stuff, it's like, really what the church should have done with Vatican II was address the sexual revolution that was happening in the culture. They should have addressed these revolutions. They should have, like, even civil rights. Like, they should have addressed really important topics and handled them properly, but they were just completely castrated at that council. And look, it's a combination of things. Like, at that same time, you're dealing with mass media coming into effect, right? Like, for the first time in history, every single home has a television in it, and the television is this magic box just beaming a narrative into your home, putting propaganda into your brain. Even now, people, even those of us who think like, oh, I'm red pilled, or like, I'm not falling for the propaganda. Every single thing we watch on social media, everything is just further and further brainwashing us into this fake world that isn't real. Like, none of it is real. It's all just them manipulating our emotions and manipulating us. They're going to make it so that there is a civil war in Europe and in America and Canada too. Like, that is the purpose of all this stuff. The whole purpose of flooding our nation with all these immigrants was to destroy the culture that we had here, to destroy you knowing your neighbor and knowing the person who lives next door to you so that you don't have a community anymore. And now you're at each other's throats. And when crap hits the fan, like if crap would have hit the fan in Europe, like during the Black Plague or something like that, people knew their Christian neighbors. They could go and count on their Christian neighbors to help them. And you knew you weren't in danger because your Christian neighbors were Christian. You have some kind of crazy thing happen now, you're not going to know who you can trust. You're not going to know who you can count on because you don't even know who's Christian. And you don't know what it's like to go to war, have a civil war in your country until you're fighting against non-Christians. Because I talk to a lot of right-wing guys think, well, we got guns and we're going to, it's like, you're dealing with savagery, man. Like people who don't have a conscience, people who don't think the way you do. You will still have empathy. You think you want to go and take someone's life, even in self-defense? You don't. Look at like Karmelo Anthony. None of us would do something like that, where you stab someone in the heart because they pushed you. Like none of us would do something like that. You're dealing with people who have no moral compass. They think nothing of extinguishing human life.
A nation that deprioritizes the state of its soul eventually ends in just peril and disaster. And that's that's essentially what you're seeing. And then you buy into this manufactured chaos. And then you think about every sort of facet of society, right? So starting with the color revolution of like the late, 20th century or the early 20th century, late 19th century, et cetera, with feminism and everything that happened with the free love movement and then to race and everything now, it appeals fundamentally to people's hindbrain. And now you have this awareness of like mental health and mental illness. There's been no more treatment and awareness and medication there is right now, but we're the most mentally sick people probably in history.
In history, by far. Not even a question. I think we're way worse than the pagans were.
Yeah. At least they had some semblance of virtue.
Yeah, natural virtue, right? Like they had natural virtue and stuff. They even though they were like praying to false gods, they still had like respect for the unseen world, and
exactly.
like they cared about honor and integrity, and they cared about their leaving their children something. Like the stuff we're dealing with today is so much worse and degraded, and even especially like the social media cloud everybody's trying to go for and stuff. It's just, man, it's disgusting. We're in trouble.
We have a short memory, dude. We have a short memory. We've allowed people to rewrite history. We don't look at history critically. Look at some of these Eastern European countries. You look at Poland, look at Serbia, look at some of these other countries that have a very long memory. They know what happened to them at the hands of Islam. They remember. And so they've fortified their wall. I mean, Poland is probably the most healthy country in the entire world because they've consecrated or not consecrated, but they've declared a crisis king of Poland. Their borders are super secure. They're a prosperous country because they've got that patria and that long memory. We don't have a long memory. I mean, look at some of our ancestors. Imagine now we've just allowed these animals within our walls. I mean, a lot of them are not animals because they're taught not to question their faith. Sorry, go ahead.
How far back do you know your ancestry?
Maybe 3 generations.
Grandparents?
Yeah, great-grandparents.
Great-grandparents, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Same here. Like I know my dad's grandfather because he was alive during my lifetime. He lived to 96. So I know my dad's grandfather. They came here and came into Ellis Island in 1912 to escape the war. And that's as far back as I go. So like when I became Catholic, discovering the saints was so exciting for me because I had this history now. Like I had this ancestry that I could go back and I could discover my actual lineage goes back to the Christians in the Middle Ages and the Christians of the Dark Ages and even before that. So like learning Christian history for me was such an exciting thing because I see that as my heritage, where, like your average person, like your average American or Canadian, they don't know anybody beyond their grandparents. And there's no, like you said, there's no long-term memory. They have no care to like preserve their family name to pass it on. There's just no pride in caring for what was handed down to us.
And it's because we don't care about the faith like we once did. because it wasn't handed down to us. I mean, that's why I'm so on fire for these Zoomers and these young people that are coming back with this like ferocity, because they're like, we have been, you're black and you're Catholic. We're Southern Italians. We might as well be black.
No, well, no, because first off,
no. I get what he's saying. No, he's right.
Ocean said the Italian tradition of pretending to be related to a saint. So Catholic Crusader said, no, if you're black and Catholic, it's not about race. Like they are your inheritance also.
I agree.
Ocean is just mad because he's not Catholic yet.
He's not. Come on, dude. What
he's
are you doing?
Catholic yet.
Watching AB.
So he doesn't get to claim the saints as his ancestors.
Yeah.
So he's got to play these little games. He's only 16. We cut him a little slack. Yeah, that's pretty cool. If you know your paternal line traced back that long, that's pretty awesome. I know my great grandfather's cousin was Lucky Luciano.
Get out of here, really? That's awesome. That's pretty together.
If you go back to Sicily, where my grandfather was from, the house that his family still owns, there's a picture of my grandfather with him. My uncle went there recently. So,
sick. I feel like we've just been doom pilling for the last like 45 minutes, and like I think there's just hope. Go ahead.
Well, it's not that I'm doom pilling, it's that I am worried. I'm worried about, I don't want to build that tension more. So like, you know, I know I see a lot of other creators going out and they're like I don't like going down the white supremacy line. Like none of that stuff matters to me. I really do worry about these tensions building, because I don't like, everybody gets excited when they see like Ireland fighting back. I don't think any of us really understand what civil war looks like, man. And I have a son who's 20. I don't want my son getting involved in this stuff. I don't want violence. Like life is still pretty good for us, despite all the crap we're talking about. But I don't want it to be where if I'm going to work and I'm a white guy and black people are so brainwashed to hate white people that they attack me on the street just because I'm white. Like I'm worried that that's where things are escalating to.
Yeah, I agree. And so I'm curious your thoughts on, because there's a huge swath of people, myself included, that are like, I'm getting out of the cities. I'm just like retreating. I'm taking care of my family and the state of our souls, because that's my main job. My children are part of my bodily goods, and I have to take care of my wife. I have authority over them. So I'm just going to get the hell out of here, take care of them and myself, and, you know, do what I reasonably can to provide and protect spiritually, materially. A lot of people think that's retreatism. I'm curious, what do you think about that?
I think it's kind of the Benedict option, right? That's that book Rod Dreher put out. But like, I think it's probably the safest thing to do. I think you still need community, but I don't think you're looking to move into an off-grid home where there's nobody. No. It's just,
I'm not going full Bug Hall.
Yeah, you'll still have community, and I think as long as you have that, it's okay. Because I think that might be the only way to survive what's coming, man. Like I don't know any other way. Like I think the cities are going to get so violent at a certain point, and I think it'll be in the next 10 years. I mean, it's already happening in Ireland, right? I think Europe is going to be the testing program.
Oh yeah.
Like I think like Europe, it's so much more catastrophic for Europe because they were Catholic and they turned their back on their God. And it's the same as when, like, if you really understand the Arthurian legends, the Arthurian legends are pretty awesome, man. Like if you go back, what you're dealing with is you're in this world. It's early on in Christian history, and the pagan gods are still around. So you have like this mix of magic still happening, and the pagan gods are losing their power. Their oracles are no longer prophesying and stuff. And you see like Arthur and they're going and searching for the Holy Grail, because Christianity is now, the altars are spreading throughout Europe, and Rome falls because of this, and you have like the pagans all collapse because of this. But now that we've been Christianized, it is exactly like when Christ says, when a house is swept clean, 7 demons will return to it, right? So like we are formerly Christian Europe. Well, not we, but like Europe was a formerly Catholic continent. So for them to turn their back on their God, it's going to be catastrophic. Like, it's going to be worse than it was during the pagan era, and God will have to chastise them in such a harsh way because of that. Where I don't think Canada too was Catholic, man. Canada
More
too
Catholic
was
than the
very
United States. At our origin, we are very Catholic.
French
Super
Catholic, man. 100%. Like, there was a point, I think it was Pope Pius the 12th was going to hide out in Canada.
Yeah.
To hide from
That's
the
right.
Nazis and stuff. Like, Canada's fall is just as devastating as Europe's fall, right? Where America was always founded on these Masonic principles. It was always a Protestant nation. It was never a Catholic nation. So I don't think the fall will be as severe as Europe's, where Europe, I mean, God has to, if God doesn't chastise them soon, it's almost like God doesn't love his children.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think the chastisement is going to be more brutal because of the moral culpability. I mean, meaning, so if you look at early Christendom, you know, it was all of the Middle East essentially, but it was a complete hostile takeover. It was like an unprecedented enemy that came in and just with their brutality, force, and just sheer numbers took over. And these people fought tooth and nail and tried, and they were taken over. Okay, different when you have an awareness and it's not a violent takeover. It's this quiet takeover. And, you know, we've just gotten away from being, you know, in tune and discerning, and we've just allowed these people in. I think somebody said earlier, suicidal empathy. Man, the chastisement there, because we know better. It's like you and I, and then all of a sudden deciding to defect and apostatize. You don't think our punishment's going to be worse because we know way worse, dude.
Yeah, it has to be because they were Catholic, you know, and it's just, so I think we're going to see it break down there first, and we're going to get a glimpse of what a collapsing culture really looks like. And it's scary, man. I don't know. I mean, they allowed
up here first, and then you guys will see it because we're a cautionary tale. We're like a couple steps ahead in the totalitarian sort of tiptoe. So you just look at what we're doing up north, and this is the same thing. Same thing's going to happen to you guys.
Yeah, the only thing about America is because it's so big, there will be places to go. But so is Canada. Like, you'll be able to get away from it in rural areas in Canada because it is so vast, right? There's so much land where you could just go and just be away from the madness. I just think cities in America are going to erupt soon. I think cities in Europe are going to erupt soon. It's just, you know, that's what they're pushing us towards. Somebody said, I have to fight now so that my son doesn't have to fight later. There's ways to fight. I just don't want it to be violent.
Because once that can of worms is open, like, I know some dudes that are bad dudes, like high level, highest echelons of the military, faithful Catholic dudes that, man, once you open up that can of worms, and then these guys are out doing this stuff too, because it's like, now I have no choice. It's just going to be destruction, man. Like, just because you can't just like go back. It's like you just got to empty it right out until it's dry. And then what? Do we want to get it to that point? You know, because I understand the fight, but then God wants us to honor our state in life too. So why am I going to go out there and fight when, like, the fight really is here? I got to take care of this first before I can go take care of the world. Like, this is the fight. So like, don't let the enemy fool you either, you know?
Why is sub-Saharan Africa and Central and South America so behind the West in terms of functional society? Does Christianity have a role to play? Of course it does. Of course it does. Like, Christianity civilizes people, right? So and South Africa was civilized during when the British Empire was there. Like, it was civilized when the British Empire was there. Then they had they threw the British out, the British left, and it devolved into chaos. South America was Catholic, and it was really beautiful, and they were building a beautiful culture. And America went in and planted its Freemasonic ideas down there, overturned every one of their leaders, and implanted our own governments in there. We turned them into a materialistic society. It really, America is wicked, man. I mean, we really are wicked. We meddle in everyone's affairs. It's not good.
Speaking of which, when I was in New York for 3 days a month ago, I don't know how anybody lives there. There's such a thick fog over that place, dude. It's beautiful. It's insane all at the same time. It was unlike anything I've ever seen. I think
Where?
Ripper said in New York City. I was in Times Square, but I was all over. And there's such a fog, a spiritual fog over that place. And I'm like, man, dude, it's really, I'm sure it's hard to be holy in a place like that. There's just, I don't know. I just feel
it's gotten significantly worse over the last couple of years also, but there's also these beautiful little enclaves you could find. And what's crazy is you still have a very deep Catholic history here. So you will still have the remnants of that history, you know.
Yeah,
you go
for
to
sure.
You go to St. Pat's Cathedral, and you go to, you know, I mean, you could visit these different Catholic places that are just so adorned in beauty from the time before, when, you know, we still loved God enough to build beautiful things. So
yeah, I went to St. Vincent Ferrer's, and I was blown
how
away.
amazing.
Oh, dude, I went to daily mass there every single day, and I'm sure St. Pat's is even more. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Did you get a Latin mass with the Benedictines there?
No, it was the Dominicans doing the low mass.
The Dominicans, that's what I meant.
The Novus Ordo, and it was
even the Novus Ordo is really good there.
Really freaking good, dude. And there's a lot of people in there, so I mean, it is still staunchly Catholic, but it's such a juxtaposition because it's juxtaposed next to this hyper materialistic, fast, loud, hard culture, dude. That's a wild place, man.
I always tell people to go visit St. Vincent Ferrer over St. Pat's because it's just as beautiful without the tourists.
Yeah, right.
Without the tourists, and you also will get, they have that side chapel when you're looking at the altar on the right. There's a side chapel that the Dominicans will just come in and say a Latin mass every once in a while, and you just kind of sit in and watch it. It's pretty awesome.
It's sick. I went to confession there, and like the priests are just super based. It was an incredible place. We got nothing like that out here. But I'm telling you, going from like New York City back to the prairies was like, almost felt like my soul could breathe again. There's just like, dude, I mean, you went to Banff. It's totally different even there too. But if you came out this way, it's like a ghost town compared to where you're from, bro.
Well,
wild.
even where I live, like I commute 2.5 hours to work because I don't want my family near that.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm far out. And the thing is, like, Long Island is beautiful. Where I live is, but it's still suburbs. It's not the country like where you live, but especially in the summertime, Long Island there's a reason why it's the most expensive place in the country to live, is because everybody wants to live here. It's so beautiful here. And it's away from the riffraff. Like, you know, it's you're not near the riffraff. But if some kind of catastrophe hits the city, the problem is I got to cross a bridge to get out of here. And that's a dangerous thing. You can't get off the island unless you cross a bridge. So I
was shocked when I bought a pack of American Spirit Blues, and it cost me like $37 Canadian, bro. I don't know what you guys got. New York prices are outrageous. Whatever's going on, I felt robbed. I spent like $700 on a bottle of water and a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, but Canadian money's nonsense.
I know. That's why I'm so happy. My entire family is supported by the United States economy. So when that conversion hits, I'm like, oh yeah. But when I go back to the United States, I'm like, man.
Yeah, like when we went to Banff, it was like $14 for a cup of coffee. I'm like, what? No,
yeah,
okay. It's kind of wild. I know you got a meeting though, right? You got to fly.
I got to fly. Yeah, I can stay for a few minutes here, and then I'll jet.
Well, I'm gonna probably jump over to locals. I'll do a solo show over on locals, so I'll let you cut out. Mike, I can't tell you how grateful I am you bailed Rob out tonight. It was I still haven't like worked up the nerve to do a solo YouTube show. Like, I don't know,
dude. If anybody could do it, you could do it, dude. Are you kidding?
Not without a plan. I would need a plan first, I think, you know, like not on the spot when I have 3 minutes to prepare for it or anything. So
happy to have helped out, dude. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And your audience is like the best audience on Catholic YouTube, bro.
I appreciate that, and I'm sure they do too. They are a good group. Very very grateful for our audience. So, but I'm going to head over to locals now. Mike, you got anything to promote?
Dude, just my usual stuff. Check me out on YouTube. It's like really a passion project of mine, and Instagram. You know, I do one-to-one coaching for Catholic men. I just put out a course. It's called the Priest King Soldier for fathers and discerning Catholic men. So check that out. It's coming out tomorrow. Otherwise, just subscribe and share the content. It sets my heart on fire, what I do. So, but Anthony, dude, it's always a pleasure, bro. We're gonna catch up soon again, and we'll have you on. I still have to interview you and Rob separately. You, it's going to be
do it
3
separately.
hours.
Give Rob some shine. I want to see Rob do a
Yeah.
solo interview with you.
Yeah. All right, guys. God bless you.
I'll see you, Mike. Thank you, bud.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, so I am going to kill the feed on everything except for locals. If you guys are not locals members, go over and join locals. Before we cut out, if Rob would have had knickknacks, he would have been here tonight. If a total knickknack failure tonight, go to knickknack.com and let me see if I can actually have the I don't even, oh man, where is it? I'm so bad at this stuff. Wait, banners. That's where I got to go. Banners. Go to knickknack.com. Use code AB25% for 25% off your first purchase. Use code AB10 for 10% off subsequent purchases. We love knickknacks. They're keeping the lights on over here, except for when my power goes out. Also, go to Black Monk Rosaries. Black Monk Rosaries, use code Avoiding Babylon and use code Avoiding Babylon at checkout. Get 10% off those. Father's Day is coming up. They're a great Father's Day gift. Do not pass that opportunity up to get that 10% off. And thank you guys all for joining us. I'm going to kill the feed. Everybody go over to Locals and join us there. We're going to do a solo show over on Locals, and I'm going to do much interacting with the audience. Maybe I will let you guys jump on. Maybe I'll put the link for StreamYard in Locals and you guys can come on and talk with me. So let random Locals members fill in for Rob tonight. So adios, YouTube.